what I did. I put on the show, and I was so unamused with what I was watching that I picked up my guitar, and then I put it down. I went and brushed my teeth. Like,
Is this a popular show?
It's a weekly show. I'm not going to say
Jujutsu
the name.
Kaisen. I freaking knew it. Let's go, dude.
No,
JJK is mid.
It wasn't that. It wasn't that.
No, Jujutsu Kaisen's peak.
Mid. It's right in the middle.
I will say, though, Jujutsu Kaisen is one of the ones I'm behind on. That could just be a me thing.
You heard it here first, everybody. Rent a Girlfriend is better than Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Life is Daijoubu. My name is Cole. I forgot what my name was for a second. I was going to talk about how I'm feeling kind of sick, but then I decided I better introduce myself. Hey, I'm Cole. This is Thane.
Yay.
And then we got Skylar over there as well.
I'm sunburned.
In fact, I am as well. We tried doing something that no weeb has done before and go outside. Do not recommend. Not a good thing. You get this, your face becomes red, and it's not a good time.
To be fair, mine wasn't actually from the sun. Mine was from the welding gun.
Oh, you got sunburn from the welder today?
Yeah, because I didn't wear my welding mask while I was fixing that.
I know, it was really funny. You'd go. Close your eyes every time you pull the trigger.
Well, I would try to do the helmet thing, but I didn't have a lamp.
Oh, what's hilarious is you can see like the line
of my hat.
Yeah, from the hat over your. Well, if you look close at mine, you can see my hairline. It goes over and like covers up this. Okay, real quick. It's dumb. I put sunscreen on. Day 1, I did not get sunburnt. Day 2, I put sunscreen on, got sunburnt.
It's a conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy, everybody.
Don't wear sunscreen. It gives you cancer.
Anyway, welcome. This is Life is Daijoubu, episode 33. Today we'll be talking about Uncle from Another World. But before we do that, we're going to be talking about other anime things, because that's what we do on this show. We've got a little bit of news, and we're going to talk about the season a little bit. I mean, we're going to talk about our feelings about it, I guess, to an extent, but we're going to save most of the meat and potatoes for next week's or 2 weeks from now's episode, which will be the the summer anime season review. So look forward to that one. So I guess we'll just go into the news then, unless you guys had any more housekeeping things you wanted to do. Do you want to housekeep a little bit, Thane?
Gatekeep? What?
Housekeep.
Housekeep.
What are you going to gatekeep?
Yeah, what would you gatekeep?
Gatekeep.
No one can like One Piece live action unless they read all 1,034 chapters of the manga.
Yeah.
You got him. Speaking of the
How dare you, a part skipper.
Speaking of the One Piece live action, the season 2 got greenlit.
Yeah.
I still need to watch season 1.
Oda had a little video, and they had a little own transponder snail, which they look really creepy in live action.
After roughly 3 to 4 weeks of essentially being on top in almost every country in the world, they greenlit it, which is pretty unheard of for most shows. Most of the time, if a show gets really popular on Netflix, they last about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, and then they start dropping on the list. One Piece in most places where it was able to last for 3 to 4-ish weeks as number 1 or 2 on the list.
I thought you were going to say they cancel it, which does happen. Like sometimes there's a really big cult hit show, and then Netflix is like, yeah, people like this. Let's cancel it. Let's renew Big Mouth.
Surprisingly, though, and almost unsurprisingly because it was good in my opinion, One Piece did good, and it is going to be continuing to hopefully do good. So look forward to that one. Next up is The Boy and the Heron. I don't know how you say the name of that bird. It's like a seagull. Heron? Is it heron?
Heron.
Heron?
I say heron.
Heron. The Boy and the Heron, the Miyazaki film, will be releasing in, well, I guess the United States. I didn't know if it was completely North America, but for now anyway, the United States on December 8th. With like early screenings or previews like in November at some point. I don't know if it was just like the previews that show before movies or if it was like actual early screenings. The wording was really weird and I didn't quite understand it. But yeah, December 8th. So look forward to that one if you're a Studio Ghibli fan.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about this last time, but apparently he's going to do another movie, even though he said this is his last movie.
I don't know if we mentioned it. I know Thane definitely mentioned it in the car. Maybe he did
Oh,
mention it on the
yeah.
podcast.
I don't know if we did or not, but apparently he's gonna make another movie, which is weird.
Isn't he
even
in
though he
his
said this
80s?
was his last one. I think he's in his 80s.
Yeah, he's
Took him 10 years to make this movie?
Dude, I think he's doing it just for hype. He's like, this is my last film. It's like Motley Crue retiring every 4 or 5 years to hype up their tour.
Yeah. And he also does it because he's like, my son still makes crappy movies. I'm doing one more.
Yikes. Imagine being Miyazaki's son.
Yeah. He's trying his hardest. Then he makes... I heard this second one wasn't bad, but the third
earwig.
one... Yeah, the third one he did was not...
That's the only Ghibli steelbook I don't own.
Yeah.
And I'm very on the fence if I even want to get it or not. But it matches the rest of the steelbook, so I probably should.
Did The Boy and the Herring do well? Like the film?
Yeah. I don't know if it's a good film or not, but it seems like it did well. Like in Japan anyway.
Yeah.
Thane, you'll be interested in this one. Fist of the North Star is getting another anime.
Yeah, some people are debating is it a reboot for the manga? Is it just another story? It's I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a remake.
I imagine it's a remake.
Yeah.
I mean, they're re-releasing the manga and those hardcovers, and so they're probably jumping on that hype as well. And
yeah,
I imagine
those re-releases were actually already in Japan for a little while, but
yeah. And so I imagine that they're kind of following off on that.
I don't remember what studio said it was, but I really hope it's good. I hope it's just very well animated and just over the top and just freaking violent as hell.
Those big old muscle heads doing muscle head stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be like, oh, it's just like JoJo. And Thane's going to be like, Fist of the North Star came first.
Yeah, it did.
And it's not funny, is it?
Not usually.
I know it's not goofy anyway, like JoJo can be.
It can get goofy, but it's more over the top goofy. That's cheesy type silly. Because this big guy, he's got face paint on or something, and then here comes a guy half his size, goes, and the other guy's head explodes. There's some unintentionally funny stuff in that, but it's overall it tries to take itself seriously.
I see. All right. This is literally the last one I got, and hold off 1 second while I look up the name of this. Okay. So there's a new manga that recently had been published in the Shonen Jump magazine, Weekly Shonen Jump, called Kagurabachi.
Yeah.
And after reading this chapter, I went onto the old Reddit to see what people were saying about it, and I found out, it was a big meme. This manga has become an enormously popular meme amongst the TikTokers, pretty much mainly. It's kind of bled into Reddit now, but I think it started from TikTok, where essentially, and I think this is how it went. The manga was essentially not the full thing, but the title picture or whatever, and the name of it was leaked a week ago. I don't even know if you would call it leak. Maybe it was just
maybe there's a
previewed or whatever.
Yeah, previewed. Yeah.
And people took that and just went off on it, and they're all like, this is going to be the greatest thing in the world. It's going to be the next big three, and it's just going to be itself 3 times. That's why it's the big 3 by itself. Yeah. And they're all making up arcs in the future, oh man, it was crazy when he did this and this, and chapter 1 hadn't even been released yet, and they're doing all these memes, and it was just, and I learned about this all after the fact, after reading the first chapter, and thought it was very, very weird how popular in the West anyway it had become. I don't think any of those memes actually sprinkled over to Japan, so it'd be kind of ironically funny if after 2 weeks it gets canceled.
Oh. I don't think. Well, it didn't take 2 weeks.
It wouldn't be 2 weeks. It'd be 3 months. Excuse me.
3 months.
After 3 months, it gets canceled just because people don't really care for it, even after all this hype.
There's a bunch of other My Hero has to wrap up soon.
They're
on
will be done soon.
2 final battles. They gotta wrap up soon.
They just crossed the old chapter 400 threshold.
Yeah. Also, Jujutsu Kaisen has got to end soon, and I didn't see the leaks, but I saw a video talking about the leaks, and I was like, oh no, I know what happens based off my theories, but I'm not going to share it. And I'm really tempted to just go read it and just but it's nah, I'll just wait till Sunday.
That was quite the sentence you said.
But the craziest thing was that like people like sent death threats to like the English side of Twitter, sent death threats to the author, and I was like,
because of the ending.
No, it didn't end. It's just the latest chapter happened. And I was like,
and they were mad at it.
Yeah, it's a freaking manga, and when I piece together, it's like that's just what the manga is.
But it's like the writer can tell whatever story.
Yeah,
they want,
exactly.
So
like
go touch grass if you don't like it.
if I read it and something happens that I don't agree with, I'll be like, oh, that sucks. Well, moving on. I'll see how it ends. Even if I don't like it, I'll move. People just don't know how to like move on. They don't know how to cope when something they really love doesn't go their way. They'll like send death threats. They'll threaten game ending themselves. It's like, it's just a manga. It's just a show.
Should I send a death threat to whoever invented golf?
Because you golfed so badly today? Or because it rained?
Yeah.
No, the badly part.
Send a death threat because it rained?
Send a death threat to God.
Well, that guy's probably dead, so...
How dare you, God, rain on
Well,
my
I
golf.
mean, probably. I think golf is a really old game.
It's old.
Send death threat to the people on the golf course.
I become smart enough, invent a time machine, go back into...
Yeah. Just send the death threat. Not even try to kill him. Just send a death threat. And he's like, okay. Yeah, I don't get how people are like
so
this person should die because it didn't go the way I wanted. It's like, go touch grass.
They probably think it's fun, which is very sad. That they think it's fun to do stuff like that.
It just comes off as petty and get some help. Like,
I wonder if they
get some help.
I wonder if those people can't like distinguish reality from fiction.
Then they need professional help. I'm just gonna say that.
Well,
much,
it takes a kind of soul to give somebody a death threat.
Yeah,
over a fictitious world and characters.
Yeah, but I just gotta say, if you're sending death threats to people over fictional characters, stop it. Get some help.
Stop it.
So, before we move on, I wanted to do something because Thane, you read Kagurabachi Chapter 1.
Yeah.
Skylar, I'm assuming you haven't. I'm gonna pitch it to you, Skylar, to see if you would be interested. First off, I'm gonna read the little one-sentence kicker they have on the Shonen Jump app. It says, Chihiro's cursed past sends him down a quest of bloody vengeance. Does that already pique your interest? Not at all.
Thane tried to sell this to me earlier.
Oh, he did? So you know a little bit about it? Okay. This is how I'm going to sell it, okay? You like Demon Slayer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you like Chainsaw Man, right?
Right.
Now imagine those two had a baby. They effed. And the baby came out. And it was a manga where you got magic swords. And it's just bloody. They're just killing people and stuff with those magic swords.
It's ultra violent.
It basically, it looked like the blood demon, or no, not blood demon arts, just the breathing technique arts or whatever they use in Demon Slayer.
So the art looks really good.
Well, I mean, it's not like
it's pretty. It's
well,
like,
okay. You gotta. You read the manga, didn't you?
Of Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know the art's not as good as it is in the anime.
Sure,
Yeah.
but it has color and movement and music. There's a lot to it.
Yeah. Take all that out of your mind. Make it black and white. Forget about the anime for a second here. I gotta take you back there. Okay.
I think it's more closer to Chainsaw Man's art style. That rough looking.
The art's honestly pretty decent.
Yeah.
And it'll only get better because this is just chapter 1, right? But yeah, so like he's got this magic sword that looks like it can do water power because it was like made with magic or something. And I was just like, oh, it's Demon Slayer, but we're killing people instead.
Yeah, killing Yakuza or mages or whatever. Oh my god, it's Fate Stay Night.
I may give it a shot. I just have so much crap I'm reading. My backlog is just keeps growing, dude.
You see,
it's like a disease.
You see, and I don't really care how you read or what you read, to be honest, but this is the way I look at it like this. If it's a weekly manga, I literally get a chapter and I know when exactly that chapter is coming out. All I got to do is read a chapter a week and I'm caught up.
Yeah.
It's like nothing. Like to me, it's almost like it's not even an investment of my time. It's like 20 to 30 minutes on Sunday morning and I'm done.
How many weekly manga are you guys reading currently?
Maybe
the
like
entire
6.
weekly Shonen Jump catalog, baby.
I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying pick the ones you like and stick with them. until they get canceled, and you can cry with the rest of us.
See, and that's the thing is, if I'm part of the problem, because if I don't pick any, I can't get sad.
But don't you want to be a hipster and read from chapter 1, and all of a sudden someday you get an anime announcement for your favorite manga that you've been with since chapter 1?
No, I'm definitely the guy that likes to, this is a good manga that's finished. Cool.
Don't you want to tell all the anime onlys the manga is better when that comes out in 3 years? No, you're missing out, sir. I'm just kidding. I don't really care. Yeah, I don't know. It's really fun for me to do this Shonen Jump stuff just because it really does feel like a not super commitment. I already spend my mornings laying in bed looking at my phone. What's looking at my phone in a different way than I normally do? So it's not even a huge thing for me.
I think one of the big turnoffs for me, especially when I first started getting into reading manga and the Shonen Jump specifically, is when I was teaching at the school, one of my students was like, "Hey, there's this manga that came out, and you should check it out." And I can't even remember what it's called, but it was like Little Red Riding Hood, and they were fighting monsters. Thane probably remembers.
Red Hood Guild or something.
Yeah, something like that. It was really fun, and it was getting really meta how they were telling the story.
Oh, I remember you talking about that.
I was so into it, and then it gets canceled. I was so butthurt. So after that, I was just like, eh.
So I had exactly the same experience with you, but I just like picked up my pants and kept going.
No, I just dropped them and left.
Mine was that Candy Flurry one. I really liked it, and when it got canceled, I was like, oh, so this is how it goes. Well, I'm in it for the ride. Let's go for it. And I just stuck with them. And
I think another thing, too, and this is definitely just a me thing, is when I find something I really like, I want to binge the crap out of it.
I see.
And doing things weekly, you can't binge, obviously.
I enjoy binging as well. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm a pretty big fan of the binge. I mean, there's been some times where I stay up a significant amount of time at night binging something that I probably shouldn't be because it's 4 a.m. and I should be sleeping.
Yeah.
So do you guys prefer the binge or the weekly drip feed?
Really just depends, honestly.
I kind of like to mix it. Like, what show can I binge while I'm waiting for my weekly show? Like, oh, man, what anime should I get caught up before the season while I'm waiting for the last episode of Mushoku Tensei? And which, when this comes out, it hasn't aired yet. But it's like, well, I got a few shows. I got this show to catch up. So I just do that.
I definitely prefer the binge. And I think that the binge could also save stories in the long run, especially when they have like really slow or bad parts.
Well, I mean, we've said it before. Rent a Girlfriend, right? That definitely benefits from the binge because we both were there at one point. We both binged it.
Right. But even like some of my weekly shows, I think, well, I pretty much know when we get to like episode 6, 7, it slows down until you get to like episode 10. Then it picks up towards the end of the season. Whereas if I could binge a show, like of course those episodes, it's not like they're gonna suck any less, but I can just power through it. So to me, it's not that big of a deal. Whereas you watch a sucky episode and you're like, well, that's my taste for the week.
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying, what you mean and everything. But I really enjoy being caught up with something and seeing what everyone else is saying about it as that comes out.
Right, and I think that, to me, is probably the best part. It's the same reason why I like playing video games day one with all my friends.
Yeah.
Same principle.
But when it comes to the binge is much more of a personal thing. Like, you don't really get to share that. And that's, I don't know. I'm a big fan of sharing, or I guess in turn seeing what other people want to share, you know.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, it works to some series. I think it's very subjective. I think it comes down to the specific thing for me. I mean, there's some things I'd rather binge, sure, but other things I'm fine with, you know, one at a time. Like, say like Zom 100's anime was completely done, I'd binge it. I'd be very happy to binge it. The wait in between each episode really is kind of like sucks, especially because of the production issues, so it's kind of unfortunate. But I don't know. I mean, like, I binge the manga as soon as the volume comes out. I read the whole volume in the span of like 45 minutes to an hour. So,
well, in reading the weekly shows and like Boruto, Blue Box, Chainsaw Man, reading that with you guys is really fun because we all read it and then we all talk about it. So maybe I will give this other one a shot because as far as my weeklies go, I think I'm reading 4
Yeah.
4 or 5.
Do you still read Rent a Girlfriend? From that link? Wink, wink.
Thanks, Reddit.
Thanks, Reddit.
Yeah.
So you're caught up with like this week even?
No, because I haven't read this one.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you just like given up on it for a bit.
No, I still read it, but like the chapter before the one that just happened this week, man, I really liked. There was a lot of fun things in there where he's just like, up.
Yeah, this Paso Lark's been kind of fun. Like, it's like they're making a good manga now. Reggie finally started. Anyway, well, that's enough about Rent a Girlfriend. Let's talk more about Rent a Girlfriend. We're talking about the anime.
It's good.
We're gonna move into the seasonal animes that we're watching. We're gonna just briefly talk about maybe our feelings, our frustrations with the season before we actually fully dive deep into the season in the next 2 weeks for our seasonal review. Initial like conversation is for me anyway, and I know Skylar kind of shares this sentiment, but I don't feel like the shows are hitting, save for like 1 or 2 or 3 on a good day. I mean, like, I get so excited to watch Mushoku Tensei and Zom 100, but everything else, I'm just all like, another episode, here we are, time to watch some thighs.
Maybe that's the problem, is because we're getting peak.
Maybe that's what it is.
And then it's just like, this is what anime
nothing else
usually
compares.
is. Right.
Nothing compares to you.
Because, like, even Rent a Girlfriend right now, we're peak Rent a Girlfriend.
So
yeah.
I've been watching that one weekly still.
Same.
Like, I haven't missed a week on that one, actually.
Yeah, me either.
But I'm behind on almost every other one of my other shows.
Yep. Even today, I was watching. I'm not going to say the name of the show because it's kind of bad of me to what I did. I put on the show, and I was so unamused with what I was watching that I picked up my guitar and then I put it down. I went and brushed my teeth. Like,
is this a popular show?
It's a weekly show. I'm not going to say the
Jujutsu
name.
Kaisen. I freaking knew it. Let's go, dude. JJK is mid.
It wasn't that. It wasn't that.
No, Jujutsu Kaisen's peak.
Mid. It's right in the middle.
I will say, though, Jujutsu Kaisen is one of the ones I'm behind on. It could just be a me thing.
You heard it here first, everybody. Rent a Girlfriend is better than Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh.
I'm just a degenerate.
See, I just got to do this stuff to get the clips. I got to make clips out of this podcast.
Oh, right.
I got to say the hot takes.
Right.
I got to force hot takes into you guys' mouths. What's your hot take, Thane? Can I give you a hot take?
Rent a Girlfriend's mid, and I haven't
That's
even
not a hot
seen
take.
it.
That's a mid take, Thane. We need hot takes here. Say something that's bad as good, or something as good as bad.
I don't know.
Anime sucks.
Anime sucks.
Yeah, I think that honestly could be it. We just have the peaks of anime right now, and everything else is just not compare.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like some things I just want to binge. Like, I think I'm kind of there because, like you were saying earlier, how you want to binge things because you're on that lull. I think some of these things I just purposely want to binge because I don't care what other people think about them. I just want to go for it when I want to go for it. But it's just like, I don't know, it's rough. Like, I don't want to talk about all my shows, but most of my shows I've not watched for a while now. In fact, these next 2 weeks is where I'm going to get caught up on all of them because it's the off 2 weeks where we don't have a watch along.
A lot of my shows aren't even going to finish because they either got delayed or they're too core. So
yeah.
I'm debating whether I should just drop those or just wait and then binge it when it's all out.
There are some shows I'm heavily debating on dropping, but I don't know if I will or not. We'll see. Thane, we've talked a lot. What are your thoughts on this anime season without going into like full on thoughts? Like, what are your just rough surface thoughts?
I think it's okay.
Yeah, not too great, not too bad.
Some bangers. I like Rurouni Kenshin, Mushoku Tensei, Jujutsu Kaisen. Those are the ones I like.
Are you watching Zom?
Yeah, I'm watching Zom 100. Just that it just keeps getting delayed.
Yeah, rip.
Very sad.
Also, Jujutsu Kaisen got delayed, but I read the manga, so I'm not so salty about that.
The animation's really cool in JJK, and the choreography is awesome. Like, that is one of the best fighting mangas or anime that I would say.
Yeah, like how the battles are presented. They're like more tactical.
I still think Demon Slayer wins in that aspect. Like Demon Slayer fights is just a spectacle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I can't.
Well-
I've not really watched JJK, so I
Well,
rescind that comment.
In story-wise, I think Jujutsu Kaisen's way better. Of course, I like story.
You mean you don't like hunting down the demon Michael Jackson?
Yeah, no, I don't.
And
Sorry.
your big boobied sister's a demon?
Yeah, no, I don't. Sorry.
I wonder if like that week or like that month their ratings had gone down, so like, I guess I'll make the sister big titted.
Yeah.
How do we get it, boys?
Because like she never had big boobs up until that point. They're just like, yeah,
that was
we need
her.
some more
That was her
ratings.
leveling up.
Oh yeah,
They're like, how do we show her leveling up?
big boobs.
Big
That'll do it.
boobs. And tattoos going across the boobs.
Nope.
Hey, it kept me going. I finished the manga.
I just read it because it was
That's not
short.
why though.
I just read it because
yeah.
it was short.
Wait, you think Demon Slayer is a short manga?
Yeah, 200. It's only 200 chapters.
I always thought that was a higher chapter or higher manga. I would think of like short manga like 100 chapters.
Compared to very successful Weekly Shonen Jump, some of those guys could go up to like 400 to 500 chapters.
Or
I
just
guess
never
that's
end
true.
over 40
Yeah.
years.
I guess just the more recent, newer things, I haven't really thought of them as going on for very long. But My Hero is probably one of the most recent, newer
Yeah.
things, and it's at 400.
Yeah.
What did Attack on Titan get to? Like 300 something?
That was
No, I
like
think
190 or something. That was a monthly.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, well, figure it out and then we'll double the number because then it'll be more accurate, I would say. How many chapters of it? Don't look down, Sky. You might get a spoiler.
You're right.
Cover your eyes.
I'm still waiting for that last freaking episode.
We have an air date. I think it's November
Yeah.
3rd or
Something.
4th.
I still hate how they've released Attack on Titan. I think it's the worst releasing they've ever done with an anime.
It's 34 volumes. It's.
I knew it was 34 volumes. I could have got that one. If it was like a game show, I could have got that question right.
At 139 chapters.
Okay, double that. 139 plus 139.
278.
Yep, 278. So, My Hero Academia is officially longer than... I'm just kidding.
You've
I
got
don't know.
like My Hero, Naruto,
I think.
Boruto.
Well, actually, I think you'd
I guess
have to.
Boruto's not up there yet, but how Bleach is really freaking long.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
considered a shonen?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
Weekly Shonen
Dragon
Jump.
Ball, and those are all the big
That
boys.
is so. Sky, you don't know how Shonen Bleach is.
Is it more shonen than?
What do you?
I got nothing.
Okay,
My-
yeah, it's
my
shonen.
cogs
It's
froze
very
up.
shonen. I'll tell you that much. Ichigo gets like 5 power-ups. That's how shonen it is.
Do they just follow the Luffy gear model?
Something like that. It's not
There's-
as cool.
I looked it up. Boruto has 80 chapters, plus the 3 for the new
Yeah.
Shippuden-esque thing. It's interesting they actually did split it up into a new title, whereas
Yeah.
like Shippuden never really had that title except for the anime. He doing freaking ninja hand seals.
Are you doing the Chidori?
No, Chidori's... No, that's Fireball. I don't know how Chidori... I just know it does this at one point, and they go, Chidori. I used to
Rip
know it.
someone's heart
Man, I
out.
was a big weeb. Because like Fireball Jutsu was like, do. Then I think you just... Well,
Yeah.
I think I might have missed one hand seal or something. All right, enough about us being weebs. Let's talk more about us being weebs and talk about not just us, but another weeb in a weeb show that we watched this past week and a half or two. And that is Uncle from Another World. So if you...
Wait, he's not a weeb because he's actually
He's a gamer.
Japanese. He's an otaku.
He's an otaku.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah, good point. Way to look out for
Yeah.
him.
Way to tell everyone. Never mind. I was gonna say it, but it's mean. I'm not gonna say it.
I think I know what you say. Anyway, so if you've not watched Uncle from Another World, or if you do not want any spoilers from Uncle is Another World, then this is where you stop. You can figure out what our next anime is in the description.
Where you
Well, no
drop
way you
your
get, because next
pants.
2 weeks we're going to be doing the
You should
seasonal
just go
review.
watch it though.
You should just
It's
go
fun.
watch it. It's a fun show.
Yeah.
But here we go. Uncle from Another World. The quick premise is this dude's uncle all of a sudden wakes up from a coma. Turns out he was living in another world. He was isekai'd to another world for the past, I believe, 20 years?
17.
17 years?
I believe it was 17.
17 years of his life he was isekai'd, and all of a sudden he woke back up in the real world. He has all his magic powers from that other world still, so he's able to like tell his nephew all about his adventures, even show him like a little TV of his adventures, because that's one of his powers, to project memory onto like a TV-esque thing, hologram kind of thing. But pretty fun show. What do you guys think? Did you guys like it?
Yeah. It may be download a Sega Saturn emulator. I like
Did you play Guardian Heroes?
No.
Oh my gosh, that's literally the only game you should have played.
I've already played that.
You have to beat it in 30 minutes.
I got an Xbox Live.
Can you beat Guardian Heroes in 30 minutes?
No, that game's freaking hard.
He could. Uncle could.
He's good. He uses old school train.
He
classically
was
trained.
good.
I love how instantly freaking Takafumi goes, I've had a guy beating it in 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super fun. I loved the way that they told the story, because you're going back and forth, but it's like you're always rooted in the real world, because like Cole mentioned, they're watching it through the TV. So I don't know. It's just an interesting way to tell the story. And Uncle doesn't really give an F. He's just like there. He's just like, this is fun. If you guys want to watch my life, I didn't really care about it. So I guess if you guys want to care, you can.
It's super fun to see, like, as it progresses, how he kind of starts to go, huh, you know, maybe I did like it. Maybe I do kind of miss it.
Yeah, I do want to go back.
It's one of those, like, freaking teases the entire way through, where it's like, I wonder if we're going to find out what happened to his friends, or what happened that, you know, and all that stuff. But you just don't get it at the end of this anime, because the anime ends and there's no announcement
How
of a
much
season
farther
2.
is the manga done? Like, is it?
Honestly, I only think it's like an arc ahead, so that's why there's probably not an announcement of a season 2. I'm trying to think of everything that happens immediately after that, but I don't remember if anything in between that and the arc that it's currently on happens. And that arc actually just recently just about ended, or it's got one more chapter. It's a monthly manga as well, so
okay.
It's going to be a slow burn for that, but I don't know, like it's quite fun, and I'm quite curious just to see just the little subtle reveals for different things here and there going forward with the series. But let's just talk about the 12 episodes. So we get essentially 2 stories. It's almost like the A and the B plot. And the A plot is always whatever Uncle's life was in the other world, and the B plot is almost always the real world, what's happening to the main character Takafumi and his uncle and his other friends. And
It's kind of like Assassin's Creed with the real life stuff.
Oh,
and the stuff in the
okay.
animus.
I see what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yep. He's not wrong. It's kind of like that. Good call.
I haven't played Assassin's Creed in a while, so I don't know if they still do the animus stuff.
I don't know if they do or not.
Yeah.
For me, with the show, I think some of my favorite parts was just the parallels between Takafumi and Uncle. Man, they're both like really smart and really dumb at the same time. I loved how Takafumi's watching Uncle's life, and he keeps commenting about Tsundere girl, and he's like, "Uncle, you're so dumb. You're so dense." And then
he's got his girl right.
He's
next
literally
to him.
sitting next to his girlfriend, doing the exact same thing.
Yep.
Just like, I thought that was really, really funny. I don't know. It's just fun how relatable those 2 characters are, I guess, in some senses, and then not in others.
I have 2 specific scenes that I wanted to talk about just because I thought they were very clever and very fun. The first one is literally like the first scene of the show, when Takafumi's walking across the street and all of a sudden the truck comes running down the corner and you see it, you go, oh, it's going to nail Takafumi. Takafumi gets safely across the street and the truck goes past like nothing happened. It's just hilarious because that's how isekai starts.
Yeah.
And then immediately after you found out that's how his uncle got into a coma by getting hit by a truck. So it's just all like they subverted your expectations, but then they said, JK, and actually it's exactly what happened. And then the second one was when Uncle gets a nosebleed because he remembers Alicia was naked in front of him. And it's just ironic because it's playing onto the trope of getting a nosebleed because you're horny. And like, it's just clever because that's not why he's got the nosebleed, and he even explains it's not why I have the nosebleed. And then what's the girl's name again? I don't remember. Fujimiya. She's all like, that's right, because blood doesn't go to your nose in those situations. It goes somewhere else in your body. And so it's just like, they're really hitting on like, why would they even have blood shooting out of the nose to begin with? Oh, it's so freaking clever and funny. But those kind of scenes are just throughout the entire series. It's just little clever little jabs here and there that are just so fun.
Yeah, it's very, like, this show has a lot of references. And some of them, man, really hit. Like when he was talking about YouTube and the apocalypse and all that stuff, I literally wrote, where is it at? Did I not write it? I just wrote, bro, Uncle Just Like Us for real. YouTube is real job. Adpocalypse rough, though.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is fun because it's like you can tell that that's kind of a more up-to-date show, even though that kind of stuff happened almost 10 years ago.
2018. Well, the show's technically set in 2018, so
I guess it's only 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Matt Watson. Not the super mega Matt Watson.
Different one.
Yeah, different one.
That the person that did some no-nos or something that made YouTube a bad place?
Yeah. Yeah, the guy who's like, there's kitty diddlers with videos
on YouTube.
Is
that what I don't actually ever really?
That was the second one. The first one happened in 2016, I believe, with PewDiePie.
Oh,
is PewDiePie with
the bridge?
No, the edgy joke.
Oh, okay, I know that one. Okay,
that was so we all hated Wall Street Journal for that one. We condemned them. We were like, boo.
Anyway. Yeah, so the references, it's really fun for me because I grew up as a Sega kid. I didn't have a Nintendo growing up. I had a Genesis. I had a Dreamcast. And so all of the little Sega references, the chiptune music straight out of the Mega Drive, it's super, super fun for me. Like, it's literally, they use the soundtrack from the Mega Drive to make some of those music. And just the subtle little, like, oh, look, Sonic and Tails, or, it's just clever. And that points me to my next thing I wanted to talk about, which is the fact that I watched the dub. So I originally, if you guys recall, I watched this as it came out on the show probably a year ago now, actually. I think it started in the summer season last year and ended in the winter season. Or the end of the fall season or something. It was like December when it ended, roughly. So I watched it subbed back then, and this time I watched it dubbed to get both perspectives. And I was telling these guys earlier that this is probably one of the only shows, and probably the first show that I've ever really had this opinion that you probably should watch the sub to get the best viewing experience of this. I'm definitely not a sub elitist like most people are. I'm honestly, I love dubs. I love being able to not have to like read while I'm watching a show. In fact, I prefer that. But from episode 1, it was pretty dang obvious that these voice actors weren't either, directed. They weren't seasoned, but it didn't seem like they were directed very well to do the different roles. They definitely fell into their roles the longer it went on, and that was pretty apparent that they definitely got more comfortable with their roles. But even still, some of them were not what I would have chosen to have that voice. Whereas the sub, very well done. I thought all of the voices in the sub sounded great for the individual characters. And the reason why I bring up this with the Sega thing is because of one thing in episode 11, when Mabel sings the Starlight Zone song from Sonic the Hedgehog.
And she literally just goes, bah, 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 bah,
yeah.
bah, bah.
That wasn't the English voice actor. That was just the dub. Yeah. They didn't have the English dub or the English voice actor dub over that. They just reused it. And I was just like, oh, so now it's weird because now I got two voices on one character and I don't know what they're doing. And also this would have been after all of the weird production delays. So it almost seems like Netflix just stopped caring about releasing it at one point. And so it was kind of like a a weird up in the air moment.
Mm.
Well, I feel like a lot of anime, specifically with the dub, when they have music stuff like that, they do just do the
They
sub.
do, but the funner dubs are the ones that they do it themselves too.
I can't even think of any.
I can't think of any off the top of my head as an example, but I know there are some, and I do remember specifically being like, that's cool. I'm really glad they figured out a way to adapt it in that specific way. Okay, like, here's one. Mushoku Tensei. In season 1, granted, it works in the Japanese dub as well, but I'm pretty dang positive that it is. But in season 1, when they start speaking the language from their world, I'm pretty dang sure it's the English voice actors doing it. I don't think they switch back to the Japanese voice actors speaking the fantasy language. And just things like that really go a long way to sell you on the acting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Overall, I didn't necessarily hate the dub. I think it's worth watching. I just know that the sub was a little bit better in the acting.
Do you think
department.
if you didn't watch the sub, you'd still have that opinion? Because I just watched the dub, I thought all the characters did fine except for Mabel's. I thought hers was awful.
Mabel's the biggest worst one, and not to say, like I said, not to say their voice actor was bad. I don't know if their voice actor is bad, but I think it's the only time I've ever heard them. I feel like it's the direction. I honestly think the direction was the bad part about the show.
I looked it up, and I think only 2 of the cast members, the one who plays Takafumi and his
Uncle?
Girlfriend,
Oh.
or no, I guess not girlfriend yet. I mean, she's going to probably, let's be honest, she's going to be the girlfriend in the future. I think those 2 were the only seasoned voice actors. And everyone else was just either just a general actor, or they did voice acting outside of anime. The guy who voiced the uncle, he's some kind of comedian that he's done voice for cartoons, so he's seasoned. But he's never done anime. I think this is his first anime.
When I looked it up, I had a hard time finding out who the voice actors were, because there's not a listing for them on Behind the Voice Actor, that website. You had to go digging to find it.
It'd go on IMDb probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the chick who voices Mabel, she's only done live action stuff. What I see. So they just voice non-seasoned people.
I swear it was Pokimane when I first heard the voice. I was like,
You thought it was?
Pokimane's the voice actress.
Yeah.
She sounds a lot
That's
like her.
funny. I didn't necessarily love Elf's voice either, or Uncle's voice. But those 2 were very obvious that they fell into their role as it progressed. They got better and better with their role the farther along it got. And there were some things that they did well, in my opinion, by the end. But definitely from the beginning, I had a lot of okay moments where I was like, maybe I do just watch the sub and not even care. But I was definitely the most curious about what they were going to do about Mabel singing. Mm-hmm. I wanted to know if they would just use the Japanese audio or if they'd redub it. And I got the answer. That's one of the main reasons I stuck with the dub to begin with.
Yeah, honestly, thinking about all the anime I've watched, I can't really think of one, except for maybe My Hero. I need to go back and rewatch that though. It was the festival scene where
where they
Earphone
sing.
Jack, she sings. I'm pretty sure I watched it subbed, and it was the Japanese voice actress. But I do know that they have an English version of that song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that she sings during that. So I don't know. Other than that one, thinking back about on all of the music manga I've seen where there is singing, it's usually the Japanese voice actors.
And granted, it's because it's a lot of work.
Right.
But this one, there wasn't words to it. It was literally just humming Starlight Zone from Sonic.
Right.
And apparently, one little tidbit about that. Apparently, they use that little jingle in claw games or something, which is where the kids knew it from, where Uncle knew it from Sonic. But Uncle knew that they would know it from the claw game too. Did you find something?
What?
You got all excited.
No, I was just saying, Sega owns a lot of arcades.
Yeah. So that's why they can just use the music wherever.
Yeah, I also looked up, only those 2 were they're just the only 2 real voice actors in the whole cast.
The only couple of other things that I wanted to point out that I thought were really interesting and funny is Uncle in his memory screen that he would always pull up. I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but he added scan lines to his TV because he's old. He's from the 90s.
Yep.
I thought that was a funny little detail. And then the only other thing was, my God, this intro, on point, dude.
Real good. Real
the
good
animation, incredible.
the
The
opening.
song was great.
I was trying to look up all the references to all the Sega games because there's some it's like, what is that one? And then I try to look up. I can only find the intro. But the one where he's dancing in like the idol dance, that was a reference to a tech demo of a pop idol doing a dance for the rendered on Sega Saturn.
That's cool.
So showed the power of the Sega Saturn.
That's some cool stuff.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they did that kind of stuff. I didn't know that they were all references. I knew there were some, obviously, but yeah, you're right though. The intro definitely slaps. The music was fun. The animations are a lot of fun too. Honestly, it's a fun show. I think it's really, really cool. I kind of don't think we'll ever get a season 2. I think it's one of those that we just won't ever get a season 2. And if we do, I'll be very happy about it. But there's a manga you can read if you're interested in that. I mean, I started reading it after I watched the anime for the first time. But
There was no partnership with Sega, right? On the show, or was
I don't
there?
think Sega helped them develop anything, but
Yeah.
I'm sure they had to ask them, hey, can we use your information? Because it's blatantly obvious. Like,
yeah.
they don't try to hide it. They don't try to cover up with funny words and stuff. It's literally, look, there's Sonic, and it shows a picture of Sonic the Hedgehog, you know?
Yeah.
In fact, recently, and I didn't log in to get this, but Phantasy Star Online 2 had an Uncle from Another World promotion where I think you get stands to like display in your room or something.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. And also there was a video where the voice actor is playing his uncle in Japanese playing Phantasy Star Online 2. Like he was like a VTuber kind of.
That's very clever.
Yeah. So maybe
Was Phantasy Star on the Saturn as well, or was it just Dreamcast first?
it was so they had started out on the Mega Drive.
Yeah,
then
it's just
Genesis,
an RPG, and then
and
Dreamcast
then they
was the
skipped
first
the
online.
Saturn completely, and they had Phantasy Star Online.
Yeah, that
on
was
the
on Dreamcast, yeah. Okay.
But they did have Shining Force.
And Golden Axe and
I remember Shining Force. It was everyone's alternative to Fire Emblem because Fire Emblem never got localized, and so it's like, hey, Sega's like, hey, here's Shining Force, America.
So, overall, good show. Fun show. Definitely worth a watch, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of little humorous, funny moments here and there that really got me laughing. Even on a second watch through, it still got me laughing here and there. The fantasy elements is actually pretty fun. I kind of wish they'd explore it a little bit more because they've done a little bit here and there, but not completely. It's more so fantasy lore to serve the plot rather than the plot serving the fantasy lore. But, I mean, what can you do? That's kind of the gimmick of it.
The one joke that had me dying was like, Takafumi could use some magic, and he's like, huh, I got scales. Like, oh, that's a side effect. You turn into dragon. Here, let me turn you into dragon. They had a great...
Like, I'm going to turn into a dragon, too.
They had a great Altered Beast reference there. And then when they just transform, you just hear... I was laughing. I was dying.
I think my favorite character of the whole show was Elf. I thought Elf Girl was the best just because she played that stereotypical tsundere so well. But one of my favorite quotes that she said is, it was when Uncle and Mabel are in his room and they're making a lot of noise, and Elf walks up and she's like, what are you doing in there, orc face, banging on the door? And she's like, are you having trouble sleeping? Do you need me to sleep with you? I freaking lost it.
You doing some kind of gross orc stuff inside of there? I can help you go to sleep if you'd like.
Yeah. I was dead. I was like, that's so freaking funny, dude.
I loved the joke because this is a good payoff joke in my mind where Takafumi goes, crap, he didn't know what a tsundere is because he went back before that became a popular thing.
Yeah.
And it progressed. A couple episodes later, Uncle goes, don't worry, I know about relationships. I've watched Evangelion. And then Takafumi's like, wait, so you know who Asuka is? Like, yeah, the redhead one? Yeah, did you know that she liked Kaji? And it's just like, this guy has no idea.
Wait, so he got an accent before it ended, I guess?
Well, I mean, like, minor spoilers for Evangelion. Asuka never, like, outright says that she likes Shinji. It's just the tsundere the entire time to him. So I think it finished by the time he was gone, but he just kind of just was like, he basically saw the writing in front of his face, not the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
The one that was thrown at his face where Asuka was going after Kaji when really she was kind of into Shinji.
That also that romance didn't work out because, you know.
A Peter Parker.
Check. You better check.
Just starts spraying.
If you know, you know.
What did you do the other day, Thane? You'd like drop something and Cole saw you catch it, and then same thing.
He tried Spider-Man.
Was it like a Pepsi or something? He knocked something over.
Yeah,
And I
no,
remember
it was like a cup
he,
that would have
like,
spilled all over on
caught
the
it.
floor or something.
I don't
was in the
remember,
kitchen.
but someone caught it. And I was like,
But yeah, the whole payoff on that joke was just had me dying when Uncle's just like, "Did you know Asuka actually liked Kaji?" And then freaking Takafumi's just like, "Ah!"
he doesn't know.
He saw the start of the tsundere essentially, but he still doesn't know.
you know, I might be wrong on this, but I think Sega also was a producer on Evangelion.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I
Yeah.
believe it.
So that's kind of a roundabout reference. Also, I hope one day that Sega, if there's a from another world game, that Sega will publish it.
Oh
I
yeah,
think they
they'd have
gotta.
to, right? They'd
Yeah.
have to.
It's an obligation.
It's an obligation.
Yeah.
I don't have any final thoughts. You guys have any final thoughts on the show
Um,
before we wrap it all up?
It made me discover Sega Saturn games, and I discovered a weird one where apparently on the Dreamcast, Capcom released an 8-part RPG several months apart, only in Japan. I was like, I've never known this. Capcom makes weird stuff in Japan. But yeah, I just like retro games. They haven't aged too well, but I do like their aesthetic. I do like some more modern, like Armored Core 6. I know I've talked a lot about it, but it does feel kind of like an old school game. Like I do kind of like how some people just like kind of stick to old school methods, and maybe when they make an Uncle from Another World game, hopefully be good. It'll be old school feeling.
I imagine if they ever did, they'd have to make it look like a Genesis game.
Yeah, and it'll play just like Guardian Heroes. Oh, Guardian Heroes, like the one part that got me, like I think the game's fine, but one part that got me, instead of just moving like Final Fight, just moving up and down normally, it's like these lanes, and you have to jump from lane to lane, and sometimes
really?
it won't register, and I'm like, God, just go up a lane. It was really weird. I don't know why they just didn't do the regular scrolling up and down, but yeah, I could never beat. I wanted to unlock the green haired chick, and it was like beat the angel guy on medium difficulty. I never could. It's so hard.
No angel
But-
chick for you.
Nope.
Any final thoughts, Sky?
I think it's a really fun show. Like, I don't think it's a banger by any means,
Yeah.
but my goodness, is it entertaining.
For isekais, it definitely stands out.
Yeah, it's got such a
Yeah.
unique way of storytelling. And like Cole already said, it has a lot of isekai tropes that it shows and then makes fun of.
Yeah.
Not just isekai, just like a lot of funny anime tropes, like the
Yeah.
nosebleed one he brought up as well. So the tsundere one, where it's stereotypical of anime protagonists not knowing that a girl's into them when they're being silly bakas.
That reminds me of another freaking moment that I love so much. It's when Mabel and Elf and Uncle are all together, and like Mabel's like acting like a dog towards Elf because Elf's like, "I'll take care of you" or whatever, and she's like, "Yeah, woof woof," and then Uncle goes, "Hey, how about we go get breakfast? My treat." And then like before it cuts, it just shows Mabel go, "Woof." She's like, free things, basically. It's just so funny, dude. I was dying on that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I really like the music throughout the show too. Like it just hits. It's
They have like one theme, like one like fantasy-esque theme that just is a reoccurring motif, and it's super well done.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I agree.
Yeah, it's really fun. I would like more. I don't necessarily love all the characters, but I don't hate any of them. Like they're fine at what they do. They progress the funniness.
They do their own thing. I mean, like Alicia is basically the main character. That's kind of like her role to be, you know. And then obviously you get the tsundere, and then Mabel's just the shut-in character that you don't normally see in fantasy worlds, and so it's funny that way. I don't know, it's cool.
To me, she was like that depressed empress that wasn't depressed. She actually was like really fine after she met Uncle, but before that, she was kind of a sad sack of crap.
She's just like,
Everybody hated
wait,
her.
I have to go to work now. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, it's a fun one. Honestly, you should watch it if you haven't, or at least add it to your backlog. It's a quick watch too. It's 13 episodes.
13 episodes, and because it's just so, it is as fun as it is, they're pretty easy and quick to watch.
Mm-hmm.
They don't feel like they're watching a 24-minute show.
I think you'll definitely want to read the manga afterwards, though, because it definitely leaves on a cliffhanger.
It does, yeah. And like I said, like it continues just to progress basically as you would expect, just more stories. And I mean, that's what all it is, more stories. He's got more stories to tell.
Yeah.
But that pretty much does it for our episode today, everybody. Thank you all for listening or watching on YouTube. Once again, next time we will not be doing a watch along because the next time will be the end of the season. We're going to be recapping the summer season and talking about our favorite shows, our favorite dumpies, our worst dumpies, or I don't know how you say that, our best boys, our best girls, you know, all of those things, our favorite intros and all that. After that, we're going to be doing... Not after that, but the episode after that will be the fall anime season kind of preview, and then that episode is when we're going to be talking about which is the next show we're going to watch. So stay tuned for that. So essentially, you've got a month of not having to watch along with us. You can just watch whatever you guys want to watch.
Yeah.
Give us some recommendations, though, for some shows that we can watch for the show as well. Anything that you guys want to watch. Maybe there's some hidden gems out there that we're sleeping on.
Yeah. I'm planning on, at some point, introducing manga to our show. Trying to pick, like, a shorter manga to do, like, a read-along almost. Then it would be more like a book club, if you will.
Yeah.
We could do, like, read 20 chapters this week or something.
I was thinking, like, pick, like, 100-chapter manga or less, and then we could have that done in 2 weeks. Because, like, I kind of put together, like, the time frame of it all. Like 13 episodes of an anime would roughly equate to 100 chapters of a manga. In fact, I think you might go through 100 chapters faster than you would a full 13 episode anime. But yeah, so that's something for the future. It won't be happening anytime soon. Just think about that. If you guys have any mangas you want us to read too, then feel free to let us know. Anyway, thanks again for watching. We hope you guys have enjoyed, and we'll see y'all next time. Have a good life.
Bye.
Peace.